Watch the entire video, my lovely viewers, from start to finish, to get the whole thing. Without wasting much of your time, let's get right into it. Hi lovely viewers, it's me again, your one and only Mutati Mpundu. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time on my channel, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel by hitting the subscribe button down below. Turn the bell icon to join the notification squad. Don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment. Tell me what you think about this video in the comment section below. I'll be super glad to hear from you lovely viewers.
Thank you for your support. I'm not sure if you people just do a book that counts up and take my Think about what your legacy will be. What is it that you want the people of Zambia to remember you for? For GMOs? For contaminated mini meal? For hospitals without medicines? For theft of public goods or by your ministers and people who are not delivering medicines? Is that what you want this nation to remember you for? When that day is called you are no more, what is your legacy when you leave office in 2026? What is your legacy? I think that he needs to reflect, maybe take a few days, not to his farm, to a quieter place where he can be only himself and his maker and reflect on where he's taking our country. We did warn about the fact that this country is going to suffer very, very heavy consequences because of the inactions or lack of actions of his government. But look, when they say aflatoxins, means that people are grinding rotten maize. If the pigs can't eat it, human beings can't eat it. That's the way it works. If it has aflatoxins, not even pigs can eat it. So it needs to be withdrawn from the market, and they need to take public responsibility. If the ministers are not able to do that, let the president take personal responsibility and withdraw the contaminated meat meal from public consumption, because it is an offense, it's a heinous crime. If hogs can't eat it, human beings can't eat it. That's why you do it. Take this feed it to the pigs won't eat it. Your children cannot eat it. So it needs to be withdrawn, and we need honesty and transparency, not this business of... And his supporters, he would rather he leads amidst chaos, because that's basically his nature. He hasn't demonstrated in the last three years and a half that he has any leadership acumen or capacity to lead our nation. So for me, despite my absence from the meeting, I'm elated that we are able to meet. And I want to thank President Edgar Nawakwi, the magnanimity of him having come back to the fort to give up the trappings of the office of a former president, where they take his car, they take the security, and he's now an ordinary citizen, as if he is not a state asset. Once president, forever president, because you hold secrets for the state that the state needs to guard. But Hakainde couldn't be bothered about the fact that his predecessor is a state asset. He wants to treat him like an ordinary citizen like you and I. But that's his nature. And as I've said before, this is the typical behavior of a person who has a characteristic of a Herod. Herod was an angry person. Herod was insecure. Herod was insincere. Herod was a person who didn't think that anyone else was important other than him. And it's for that reason that we really think that the nations coming together and President Edgar Lungu's coming back to say, let it be. Let me be part of Zambians that say we only have one place on earth to live, and that is Zambia. I think we should all applaud him. I know that UPND has called him names, but history will have it that Edgar Chagwa Lungu gave up the trappings. There are very few like that. We recall people like General Christon Tembo, whom we went and inspired from the office of Vice President and inspired him to resign his office to join the anti-third term. I know people like General Mianda, Godfrey Mianda, who left the trappings of being Minister of Education to join the movement to stop the third term by our then President Frederick Chiluba. There are very few. They are of a rare character. They come in their own way, and we need to applaud Zambians like that, because let us face it, when it is all done and said, this moment will go in the annals of history that because of the steps that President Lungu took to say, I'm leaving, we all now feel united, feel energized that it is possible for us to save this country from the jaws of a lion, the jaws of a dictator, the jaws of an insecure leader. And we are all confident. I speak these days with confidence, knowing very well that I'm not alone. That the mother on the street who is crying because the child is dying at Hero Stadium from cholera, the mother in Samfia who has no fertilizer, that patient in the UTH surgical ward who is being told, come for your surgery, but bring iodine and surgical wool. That patient is truly crying that there be a new direction, a new leadership, and a new government. And I thank the spirit of Zambians. They are all saying that their voters' cards are ready. Anyone I meet on the street says, Tatulelanda mama, yotuma kadi, tule chitafe dasi, ngakopita 1 week mwakunta. We are waiting for that moment, the 12th of August 2026. They are ready. And Hakainde unseen nothing. The movement which is coming, it doesn't matter. He can unleash the police. The police equally are with us. The police are saying, Alana tuchula. How can you wake up every day lining up the street to get someone from community house to his office? How can you be told, go to Namwala, and all you're doing is guarding a farm, and wow, they are fencing it? Is that the job of a policeman? So you are not alone. If you are driving Yangu and you are complaining that the rates are too low, the fuel prices are high, you are not alone. We are together. This movement which has started, it is for every Zambian, every Christian, every Zambian of any persuasion. This is your movement. We need your support. Let's support each other so that we support our nation.
If not President Edgar Lungu leading this team in 2026, he told the people of Zambia that he's ready to support anyone that is going to be chosen. We take it, for instance, you are chosen to lead this movement. Are you ready to take up the mantle?
Any one of us is ready. And I think that the common strand amongst us, and which is better than the previous arrangements that I have had, and I want to be very specific. Hagainde Ichirema, we made him president of UDA in this home. And from the moment that we made him president, I never talked to him until we lost. What I love about this new leadership that is in this national movement is that we are all agreed and we are all conscious that amongst us, yes, we are leaders, but the people themselves will be able to say, hey, this is the one we want. And all of us are agreed that because this is not a movement of just political parties, this is a movement of the church, this is a movement of different groupings, the unions and all that. And therefore, we as politicians can't say, it's me who must be president. No, the people themselves may come up and say, hey, all of you don't qualify, but we have someone in Chiengi who needs to be president for us to rescue this country from the jaws of this lion. So the beauty about the people you met today, the people who are speaking, obviously with the inspiration from our former president, and all of us are agreed that this is the direction. I think you noticed that even Osida was there in the meeting, and other people were there. You notice that the agenda is not about I. The agenda is about we are disillusioned. And therefore, where are we going? We need to wrestle the power from the monster who is towering his power like Goliath on the nation. And he's taking us nowhere, but he's only there for the sake of his friends. And therefore, I think that we are in for very, very exciting and interesting times ahead of us.
You know, there are a lot of stories bordering on continued smuggling of minimum. There's a trending story that you did indicate, comment rather. Maybe if you can have maybe a few words following the reaction coming from the ZNS. Maybe you have anything that you can comment on that.
I personally want to desist from commenting, especially on men who are in uniform, because technically they are the custodians of our peace, of our security, and of the security of the nation and the integrity of the state. But unfortunately, one General Solochi has been drawn into the polemics of meal trading, which is a far-fetched job description of a commissioned and uniformed officer. I did notice a day ago that he said that I must be educated. And he was very economical with the truth. He wasn't addressing the issues I raised. The issues I raised were to do with the importation of GMO maize by Zambia National Service. Zambia National Service was created as a service force. When there are floods, I expect, as we see them when they are passing out, doing calisthenics, building bridges, and they demonstrate their prowessness in what they've been trained to do to save the nation in times of disaster and calamity. ZNS was not built to be a trading outpost for the politicians. And unfortunately, General Solochi has been brought into the corrupt arrangements of Hakainde Hichilema's government in terms of siphoning money from the public. And as such, when he says, I must be educated, what am I going to be educated on? Because the statement I made is that ZNS maize is contaminated with genetically modified organisms. General Solochi comes back and says, no, when we import this maize, which is GMO contaminated, it is for DR Congo. And I have said, and I summarize, that there is no neighbor who feeds their neighbor with poison, or there is no mother or father who says that because there's no Panadol for the headache that a child is suffering, you can then give them rat poison. But since he said I must be educated, may I say this, in educating General Solochi, that I am a graduate of the Imperial College of Science and Technology. I went to University of Zambia not to learn security of the state. I went there to learn about economics and what to do what to do if in fact you need to do anything that relates to trading. For all it takes, if he wants to listen, when you are importing products from South Africa to Congo, General Solochi, you don't have to get an import license in Zambia for goods which are destined for DR Congo. So when you come back with a lie that these are destined for Congo, I'll ask you a simple question. Do you understand the concept of goods in transit? I'm sure you don't, because it's not in your field. If there is a cargo which is going to Congo, they come as far as Brazil, because Congolese even import chickens from Brazil. Those trucks are usually written in transit. And there is absolutely no need to get any permit in Zambia from Mount Makuru to pass goods which are destined for another nation. You can pass goods from here to Malawi. You can even import groundnuts from Angola to Malawi and consign them to Malawi with bills of lading written Malawi, countries of transit Zambia. So, Mr. Solochi, General Solochi, I want to beg you that keep away from this field, because you know nothing about it. They've recruited you in a field which is embarrassing the service. You are a service person. And by the way, as a general, he's custodian of the armory. So when he starts interacting with me, the person he's supposed to defend, I get scared. But by nature, I want to say that Hakainde, instead of going to the Minister of Agriculture to answer the question, he asked General Solochi, and it comes very clear. For once, Mutolo has come out clean that he knows nothing about what they are doing, importing GMOs, because Mount Makuru issued the import permit, and the permanent secretary authored the letter. So you cannot tell a lie like Herod and try to cover it. Even in Herod's time, the three wise men were told, don't go back to Herod because he's just lying. I just beg the commissioned officer, General Solochi, to keep away from the polemics of corruption and polemics of trade, because he doesn't know. I want to actually state that as Minister of Energy, I could load a ship sitting in the office, which is in the Gulf. So I understand international trade. So I don't need to be educated. What you can say, at this point in time, you say you are sorry, you are stopping importing GMOs. If indeed you are feeding our neighbors with GMOs, may I educate you, General, that consign those cargoes destined for the specific country, but they should be labeled in transit. And there's absolutely no need for our biosecurity department to issue permits. You need to explain that component. Don't duck it and say, no, there's maize at this pinning company, there's maize at that pinning company. Hakainde Hichilema has fluffed it. The way he has fluffed the handing back of KCM to Vedanta, he has fluffed it. He has reached a red line. For me, Hakainde Hichilema and his team have crossed a red line, and they must go. And we don't want our officers to be embroiled in the constant turnover of presidents. We want a professional service. I should be able to walk into the office as a president and say, officer, you are continuing. But this habit of every president goes with their generals, I think it must be stopped, because they are public servants. But if their behavior is like this, where he thinks that he must tell of President Edith Nawakwi, no, Madam Nawakwi must be educated. Educated in what? On the issue of trade, I don't think you understand what you're talking about. This is not like digging a trench, my dear. This is international trade. Leave it to the people who are vested, the director of trade at whatever ministry, commerce, trade and industry. Go to them and say, how are these things done? Then you won't falter, because then you say they are just instructing you. It's better to say, the president has instructed you, because he's your commander-in-chief. He's entitled to instruct you. But don't try to cover up on his behalf, because you reveal yourself as a person who is not telling the truth. And we like our commissioned officer, the way they come, smart in uniform, intelligence, and we revere them as our protectors, as our security, as our assurance for us having a continuity of a viable state.
As we were concluding with 2023, fuel prices were constant. Later on, government this year announced that it had depleted fuel in the reserves. Today, ERB is expected to announce the fuel pump prices going forward. Maybe what can be your comment regarding fuel prices in the country?
Actually, ERB lied. You see, this is a challenge that I have with the Againde's government. They lie in the morning, they lie in the afternoon, they lie at midnight. When they wake up, they are lying. Now they're even coaching their witnesses to lie in court. So the truth is that they went to IMF and signed up an agreement with the International Monetary Fund that they were going to remove subsidies from the fuels. And you know, they removed the subsidies on petroleum products, on ZESCO. They removed the subsidies on several other things. Now you can't turn up in January and say, no, we've exhausted the money which we are using for subsidies. As if you're talking to I don't know what they think we hold as Zambians. Like we don't have brains.
More news to come, my lovely viewers. Make sure you subscribe to this channel by hitting the red subscribe button down below. And also turn on the bell icon to join the notification squad. For now, I'm out. Alright, that's all for you today, lovely viewers. If you did enjoy the video, please don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about the video you just watched in the comment section below. I'll be super glad to hear from you, lovely viewers. Once again, I go by the name of Mutati Mpundu. I love you, peace, I gotta go.